Greetings, traveler. I'm SnapJelly, and the fighting in For Honor, is it realistic? Well, you guys have been asking me this for a while, and I kind of always ignored it because the For Honor hype was kind of over, so it just blew over. But the beta just released, and you guys were asking about it again and again, and I was like, you know, a lot of YouTubers have already talked about it, but screw it, I'm just gonna do it. So here it is. I am not gonna talk about the gameplay though, because I don't want to make any judgment about the gameplay until I've actually played it myself, and I haven't yet. But I am gonna review the trailer, and I'm gonna review it kind of fight review style. So, is it realistic? Well, a lot of things shown are actually really reasonable. None of the movements are excessive, and everything could be done. There are, however, some flaws that some characters, I guess you should call them, do that really just, you really shouldn't do in an actual fight. Join me in my quest, and I'll tell you why. So we start off seeing a samurai slicing through some plate armor with relative ease. Yeah, that's just not gonna happen. It does seem like he's carrying a no dachi though, or an o dachi, which is better than a katana. I like that a lot. And this is the first real no-no that is going on. Alright, so here's why this bothered me. You see, the parry that the samurai did was actually really good. You see, there's an incoming strike, and the samurai blocks it like this, right? So the attack slides off to the side, and he steps off to the right, and he manages to get a strike in, but he strikes the blade, not his opponent. If you have enough time to strike downwards and strike your opponent's blade, then why don't you strike him in the head, or in the neck, or on the arm at least, you know, 30 centimeters to the right, and you would have chopped off his hand. But instead, you strike the blade. Why? This actually, incidentally, this is a thing that you see a lot on beginning HEMA practitioners. Like, they're kind of afraid of their opponent's sword. So when they're if their opponent is in a guard position, they feel the need to smack the sword out of the way in order to get close. And usually it doesn't work because you can quite easily retract and go to a guard position in most cases. But this time, the samurai parried perfectly. Right, he's really close, his opponent's sword is completely out of the way, and instead, he strikes the sword again. Instead of killing his opponent, he just goes, well, fuck your sword. Why? Attack your opponent, don't attack your opponent's sword. Alright, so next up we see a knight using a flail, which there are some questions about the actual usage of flails in history, but judging from what I can see, he's not really using it wrong, so that's fine. I also want to make a point about this strike that the Viking did to the knight's shield. Once more, it's not per se wrong, but it's also not really smart. I mean, he could have just hooked behind his leg. Considering the shape of his axe, that would have done some serious damage. Because the knight is carrying a heather shield, and heather shields with their strapped grips, they don't really reach downwards that far. And he also has a flail, which you can't use for parrying, so yeah, a hook to the leg is definitely going to be devastating for this knight. And since you have a long weapon, that would really be something that would be effective to do in your case. Okay, next up we see this Viking who completely leaves himself open as soon as he swings. Look, he swings and his blade is over here and his shield is over there, and he's completely open. There's nothing here. Oh, that is just... no, that's a big no-no. The samurai reacts to it with a little spin, which is once more a very big no-no, and honestly, considering what the Viking displays later, he could have won here. Really, his sword is ready, it's already raised. He could just flip his shield over to the right side to block the strike from the samurai and stab simultaneously. This parry looks really good. I like it. And there you go, that's what I meant. This is really good. He blocks, and at the same time, covering his sword arm, he strikes. So why didn't he do that before? You can use a center grip shield to cover either side of your body. You can flip it over to the other side. Why didn't he do that? Still though, this skill is really good. I like it a lot. Great. those are some incredibly effective arrows. Just shooting some arrows at some potentially armored people, because everybody in this game seems to be covered pretty good, and they just all drop to the ground. Those are some incredibly strong arrows. This is a really excessive swing. Alright, so a little sword fight in a little restricted space here. Honestly, from what I can see, it looks very good actually. I kind of like the way they well, I wanted to say film, but it's not really a film, is it? This looks really good. It looks really awesome. And I can't really say much about it. It's just a struggle. So that's nice. The ending isn't nice though. I mean, you could say that this is both good and bad. I mean, it's good considering the fact that he was stabbed in the neck, which is lightly armored, so that's a good thing. On the other hand, the fact that it happened is completely stupid. I mean, the knight is wearing a great helm, which already incredibly limits your vision downwards, and he raises his arms over his head. Why? He was down on the ground and you're giving him an opening. Now, it's good that the samurai exploited that opening. Absolutely no complaints there, but why did you even do this, man? You're opening yourself up. Well, he did pay for it, so. Now, lastly, the murder stroke. Now, everybody got really excited when they saw this, and rightfully so. The murder stroke is a really effective, really underappreciated technique. Although, I gotta say, in this situation it may not be the smartest thing to do. I mean, first off, they're on a ledge, so just like a slight tap, like a little kick or a little shove, and he would have fallen. But instead, you decide to grab the sword blade, which takes quite a bit of time. Well, it's just a second, but honestly it takes longer than an ordinary strike. So, to get that bash in with the guard, in order to kill him before he falls down. Why? Just push him off the ledge. Secondly, what I just said is that it takes, performing a murder stroke, it takes a little time. Right, actually doing it in combat, switching position from the sword, from grabbing the grip to grabbing the blade, that takes just a little bit too much time if you're this close to your opponent. Now, you could say that he was kind of stunned because he got a pommel strike to the helmet, and that he, wasn't able to respond, but I'm not really buying it. So I'm glad that the murder stroke happened, but in this situation it's not really the smartest thing to do. So that was it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. You can click on this button to see some more of this stuff. You can click on that button to see some more of this stuff, because you'll subscribe if you click on that button. And thank you for joining my quest, and I hope you'll join me in the next one. Bye, guys.